something that seems evident to me about the Roseland is that it's got incredibly strong communities. I know, you're saying it's isolated, and I think it's another way we talked about that is that there isn't a major town, and it's not sort of en route to anywhere unless you're going to Falmouth by way of King Harry Ferry. It's full of little villages, but those little villages seem so strong and so community focused. And one of the events, like the third musical event last year, that the project had a presence at was Philleigh, and I thought Philleigh was fantastic. I'd never been to it before and never heard of it even, which seems tragic that I've gone my entire life without knowing about Philleigh, because it is a old-fashioned village fete with all sorts of games and community stall representation and food, and we were able to bring through the project some music into it.
You've forgotten the most important thing, which is the sheep racing.
The sheep racing. What was it? A bale toss, the sheep racing, coconut shy probably, greasy pole, whole lot, like all of the classic village fete games. I thought it was absolutely marvellous, and the hymn tunes that Bob Martin had written, he'd written one for each parish church in Cornwall. Have I got that right?
Well, yes, and he'd written a number with the names of chapels in the Roseland as well. Yes. Bob Martin had, and we were fortunate to get permission from his daughter that we could use them for the project.
Because he had passed away by this point.
Yeah, he had. Yeah. But the impact of that, of course, is that they were still the family's copyright, but the family were happy for us to have them and use them for the purposes of the project.
Yeah.
Which we did by involving
Hannah Hawken. So we arranged with Philleigh that they would be able to host an Ostel band to play at the fair, and they played a whole range of proper crowd pleasers, but the thing that we were really pleased that they could play and have performed and heard was a medley. It wasn't really a medley doesn't really do it justice, because Hannah Hawken did a wonderful job of knitting together 4 of Bob Martin's hymn tunes, or representing the different churches, into a new piece for brass band, which again has now gone into their repertoire and have these bits of music with Roseland relevance back in circulation and being heard and being played and being used. And Bob's daughter and her husband came to the fair and heard them, and she was delighted, wasn't she?
It was the most pleasing thing for me of the experience, was that Bob's daughter came and heard them and recognised her father's music within Hannah's composition, and was very touched and pleased with what we had done. And that gives you that warm feeling then that you've done something really quite special. So that was really nice.